Hey there, Tammy here, your online Taekwondo and Hapkido tutor with 5 things that you need to know before joining a martial arts studio. If you stay tuned till the end of the video, I actually have a free bonus that you can actually download, which will give you a great resource. All right, here we go. Number 1, be on time for class. When you come for your very first class, on time is not walking through the door at the time of class. On time is coming about 5 minutes early. You need to make sure you know how to do your attendance. You need to make sure you are changed in your uniform, and you have time to have somebody help you tie your belt. So number 1 tip, you need to make sure that the class you choose, you can be on time, or in other words, 5 minutes early. Tip number 2 is understanding studio etiquette. So there's some things that pretty much you're going to run into in almost any martial arts studio. The first thing is they bow. So when you walk in the door, most studios expect you to bow when you walk in the door. Also, bowing is a proper way to greet your black belts and your senior instructors and your senior students. So just be aware that you're going to be asked to bow. Bowing shows respect. So in America, we shake hands. In Korea, their bow is their greeting. So that is considered etiquette. Number 2, no shoes on the floor. So I always tell my students, wear sandals, wear something easy to take off because we don't wear shoes on the floor. Now, some schools may allow kicking shoes. They are a special shoe that is dedicated to only on the mat. That way you're not bringing in germs and rocks and dirt onto the training floor. And usually studios will not allow those until you get up to a certain level of rank. Some schools will allow you to wear socks on the mat, so you'll have to ask your instructor. You need to make sure that when you get to the studio and you're coming in for your first class, you want to make a friend. Why is that important? Well, studios are like little family atmospheres in most schools, and that friend is going to really help you, especially when you need to figure out how to tie your belt the first several classes, because it'll take a bit for you to get that down. Also, a friend can kind of show you the ropes, like how to do your attendance and where to put your bag and where to put your shoes and kind of, where the bathrooms are, all the basic things. Most schools will have leadership that's specifically trained for this job, and so that is how they learn to be great leaders. So make sure that you make a friend as you come in. The next one is hygiene. Hygiene is super, super important. Make sure that you are clean when you go into the studio. You're going to be barefoot. You're going to be coming into contact with other students. And cologne, don't put on a bunch of cologne. There's always other students with allergies, so just make sure you're clean. The other thing, super crucial, is your nails. You're going to be making contact with other students, not just your fingernails, your toenails. Nothing worse than a toenail cut right across your face. So much germs. So make sure that as a student that you're aware that you're going to have to keep your fingernails short and your toenails short. Ladies, you can't keep those really cool, super long pedicures. Jewelry is a no-no on the mat. Part of that is for safety. Dangly earrings, not allowed. I've seen ears ripped out. You don't want that. Necklaces, your opponent, your partner, as you're doing drills, you're in close contact, they can get broken, and they can even tangle up with your partner, so very important. I like to bring and have students bring some wipes. Just throw some in your bag, right? It's a handy thing to have. You can wipe off your feet before you go into class, so that way your feet are clean. It keeps the mats clean. Also, if you're using safety gear, it's always nice to be able to wipe down your safety gear after you use it because it's going to be all sweaty and it'll keep your bag. The third thing that you need to know before joining a martial arts school is that there is a certain respect and etiquette in a martial arts studio. People think they're going to come in and they're going to kick and punch and have a great time and it's going to be like the movies. when in fact, martial arts actually comes from martial, which is military, and so a lot of the respect and the etiquette comes from military systems and processes. You will be expected in most schools, unless you're in like a kickboxing or an MMA school, you'll be expected to answer with yes ma'am and yes sir. You'll be expected to look in the eyes. You will be expected to not speak out in class. There are no questions. Think of any military movie that you see, and the general is training the brand new soldiers. They're not allowed to ask questions. That sergeant can say, "The sky is purple," and all of the soldiers will answer, "Yes, sir." Right? So martial arts studios can be very much that way, in and that they do expect that kind of respect when you go in. It's great discipline with the respect and the etiquette. Number 2, talking in class. Talking in class in most schools is not allowed unless the instructor asks you for if you have any questions. Let me give you an example of what is not a good question. "Oh, but sir, if they do this and I do that, then I can do this." Not a good question. A question would be related to how the technique. Number 3, as far as expectations with respect in the studio, is you are expected to put forth a great attitude and effort in every movement. Try everything. Like, have fun with it. And as a new student, it's going to be frustrating. You're going to feel uncoordinated and awkward. Just know that. Going in and try everything they give you to the best of your ability. Don't worry, these are professional teachers. They know how awkward it's going to be when you first start. They all started as white belts as well, and they've been doing this a long time, especially if you're working with a master. All right, tip number 4 is your uniform and how to wear your uniform. Number 1, wear a t-shirt under your uniform. It's so much more comfortable. You can wear a tank top if you get really hot. Dry fit materials are great. Okay, make sure that you don't forget a shirt under your uniform. It's important because you'll be working close in with other people. Number 2, under your uniform pants, don't put them over your pants. Do not be that student who has blue jeans under their uniform pants. That's tacky, number 1. Number 2, you're going to be expected to stretch. Your instructor might want you to do the splits or grapple and put your legs around somebody. And that's dangerous because jeans and some clothes, they might have grommets on them, things that will actually hurt your partner. And number 3, make sure you have somebody help you tie your belt correctly until you get it down. Don't be that student that comes to class. Tip number 5, be teachable. Be a great student when you come to class. The number 1 thing of being teachable is having a great attitude, being willing to learn anything and having an open mind. The second thing of being a great student is you want to make sure you bring a notebook. At the end of class, log what you learned. Log your progress and log any questions you have. So that way, if the instructor asks if there's questions, you can ask a question. Or next class, you can be looking for the answer to that question. You will do moves over and over. And the matter of a fact is, the teacher probably answered the question, but there's so much information when you're a new student, you're not going to catch everything they tell you. So be very, very teachable. The next thing is, the very last thing, you must be patient with yourself. Enjoy the journey. You're gonna be lost sometimes. You're gonna feel like you don't do a good job through certain movements. Be very patient with yourself. And for your bonus tip that you should know before you join a martial arts studio is be willing to make a commitment. Not a 1, 2, or 3 month commitment. I'm talking like commit yourself to a year, 2 years, or 3 years would be even better. It's just like learning anything else. Martial arts, learning an instrument. learning to sail, learning to ride horses. It's not going to happen overnight, guys. Be realistic. When you first step foot in the studio, you're not going to be coordinated. You're not going to have strength or flexibility unless you've been working out, but it's not going to be specific to the martial arts. So be willing to make a commitment to learn. Now, we have some resources for you that will actually help you if you decide to become a student and join a school that you can download below. If you want this list, click the link below and download it. If you would like a martial arts journal and you would like to shortcut your learning time in half, the journal has tips of how to take a shortcut and trim about 50% of your train at home time down to where you're accomplishing more in less time. So that link is also below. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and a like, and feel free to subscribe to our page and smash that bell so you can get notifications as our next video comes out.